In order to understand the present, we have to look back into the past. If you are new to the Total Hypocrisy community, that is one thing we do very regularly here. And the history lesson I have for you today is a critical one, especially as we see things ramp up in Iran and other parts of the world. Let's be honest, we are going into all kinds of places all over the map. Behind me is a photo of Soviet Union soldiers during World War II. But these are not just any soldiers. These men are not those who enlisted or were drafted. These are men who are convicted criminals, detainees or prisoners of some kind, or perhaps even soldiers that are owed some kind of punishment. Maybe they went AWOL or committed some other crime. They are what is known as a penal unit or a penal battalion, and they are made up of those groups of people, and they have been offered the opportunity to go and fight on the front lines in exchange, typically, for something like a shortened sentence or a pardon. It is certain that these men are being sent, in some cases, on a suicide mission. Because when you are part of a penal unit, you are sent to those front lines and you are engaging in missions that have high casualty rates. Let's just say that. Things like walking through minefields, things like suicide assaults, things like rear guard action, all of these things that you are highly likely to not come back from. I should also note that these Soviet Union soldiers in penal battalions, they were kept under strict supervision, sometimes brutal, and they were not given the rights of other soldiers. So it wasn't like they were going to the front lines and being treated any better. It was like, you're still in prison and now you're probably going to die. Penal battalions or penal units were most common in the Soviet Union. However, they were used in other places and times throughout history. It should also be noted that the German Nazis also had these units. Now that you know all of that, stay with me. I want to remind you that these are the images they do not want you to see out of Israel. That's not Gaza, that's not Iran. That is the destruction Iranians are giving Israel, as well as, by the way, our US bases. Our US bases, you can bet your bottom dollar, look a lot like this. So here's the deal. The question becomes, if we put troops on the ground in Iran, and yes, I know there's whisperings that this is already happening, but if we put troops on the ground in Iran, it is for sure going to be a bloodbath. Iran has been preparing for this war for 3 decades. Putting boots on the ground is not going to be effective, and people will die. And as a result, as you lose soldiers, you need more soldiers to go in and fight, correct? Especially where? On the front lines, in a boots on the ground situation that most people don't want to go into. And you can bet that if a man has to cover his face like that, he's too much of a coward to actually sign up and go serve his country, correct? So it's not going to be the Proud Boys and the Patriot Front and anyone else who I didn't cover that is involved in ICE. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's probably going to be people that were rounded up and have been being kept in places like this with the Homeland Security seal on them.